Just what did it mean for you after being here for a year to have a coach
Next question.
standing in your corner?
Next question. We just want to talk about this game.
Oh, Antonio Brown, where do we even begin? He is regarded as the NFL's most controversial player, and there's not much question why. The football wide receiver is a free agent, but it wasn't always that way. In fact, he used to hold the title of the highest paid receiver in the league, but he's garnered the reputation of someone who's pretty much impossible to play with. He's hopped from team to team, and despite his impressive talent on the field, he is currently not signed to any league because of either disputes with fellow team members or allegations about harming women. And now, after he ran off the field during a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, it seems like no team is willing to rehire Antonio. Will he be able to push through his personal hangups to continue his career in the NFL, or is his work with the league all but over as he's swallowed by the negative reputation? Today we're covering scandalous wide receiver Antonio Brown. Tomorrow though, you decide. Let us know in the comments down below who you'd like to see on the next episode of Where Are They Now? And please don't forget to like this video for more content just like it. Antonio Brown was born into greatness. His father was the Arena Football League wide receiver Eddie Brown, who was named the best player in the league's history when he was active in 2006. While in high school, Brown made a name for himself as a standout athlete, but his poor grades meant that he had a hard time transferring his skills to university. He eventually got into North Carolina Prep School, which, if you're not from the USA, means a school that is meant to help students who didn't do so well in high school to get better grades in the hopes of moving on to university or college. While at the prep school, Antonio did exceptionally well in football, scoring 13 touchdowns in only 5 games. He did so well, in fact, that he was able to obtain a scholarship for Florida State. The reputation he has now as someone who gets into fights and commonly disputes with his teammates was starting to become apparent in Florida when he was quickly expelled for an altercation with a security guard. He then got into contact with Michigan State University, where the head coach was impressed with his playing ability and allowed him into the university. While there, Antonio had trouble adjusting to a proper routine of school balanced with sports, and he routinely missed practice. Despite his absences, he did very well and was even named Mid-American Conference Freshman of the Year for his amazing touchdown record as a wide receiver. By his junior season, Antonio Brown decided to forego his senior year in favor of entering the NFL draft early in 2010. He didn't do nearly as well in the draft as he'd hoped, and he got passed up 32 times by different teams before the Steelers decided to take him on as a second choice. He became a backup wide receiver, and his debut on the NFL field shocked everyone who considered him a mid-tier receiver when he became the first player since 2001 to record a kickoff return touchdown in his first game. Antonio Brown was so good, in fact, that on his first season in the NFL, he and his team made it all the way to the Super Bowl for their loss to the Green Bay Packers. He was extremely impressive on the field during this time and regularly made plays that helped elevate the team to a higher standard. During his second season in the NFL, he became the first player in NFL history to have more than 1,000 yards receiving and returning in the same year. The next year, he was the only receiver in NFL history to record 5 receptions and at least 50 yards in every single game in the NFL. As the years passed, Antonio's mastery on the field became apparent. He absolutely dominated during this time, regularly receiving touchdowns and passings at astounding rates. Despite his success as a player, though, he began to engage in conflict with other players and the coach. In 2018, problems started to arise between Antonio and other Steelers players. He had allegedly got into a pretty fierce argument with the Steelers quarterback, and although we're not sure what the argument was about, we do know that after it apparently happened, Antonio started skipping practices right before their game against the Bengals. He skipped so many, in fact, that he was benched for the game because of his unreliability. After the season was over, Antonio indicated that he wasn't happy with his role on the Steelers, and he requested a trade to a different team. Things only got worse when he was traded to the Oakland Raiders. In an introductory press conference, he was quoted as saying, "I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here to just be a surge of energy, of positivity, and good force, a great teammate, and to bring out the best of everyone around me, because we all know it's not just about me." Despite this sweet sentiment, it would only be a few months before Antonio's obstinate personality became a direct conflict with the team. He filed a grievance to continue wearing his old helmet, even though it had been banned because it wasn't as safe as the new ones were against concussions. He even threatened to retire from football if he was forced to wear the new helmet. His grievance was denied, and so Brown got a new helmet that also wasn't up to NFL standards. He wasn't allowed to play with with a helmet that didn't properly protect him, and so he continued not practicing with the Raiders in preparation for the new season. Eventually, almost a month after the first grievance was filed, he got a proper helmet, but because of all the mispractices, he was fined $54,000 by the Raiders general manager. In response, Antonio posted the letter to Instagram and blasted the Raiders online, a move that was heavily scrutinized around the league. The very next day, he got into a serious altercation with the manager and had to be held back from hurting him by several teammates. After the fight, he punted a football and was quoted as saying, "Fine me for that." The day after that incident occurred, he showed up to the Raiders team meeting and apologized for his actions. He was set to play in the next game when the team deemed his apology sincere, but he never would, because less than 24 hours after he apologized, Antonio demanded a release from the Raiders after they voided his guaranteed money in his contract. He was also fined $215,000 for his fight with the manager of the team. The day wasn't over for Antonio though, because that very same day he demanded to be released from his contract. He was picked up by the New England Patriots for a one-year contract worth an eye-watering $15 million. But Antonio would never see that money because he only played one game with the Patriots before he was kicked from the team. While practicing for the season with the team, Brown was accused of inappropriate and violent behavior towards his personal trainer, Brittany Taylor. She sued him for the harm he caused, and as the trial ramped up, with information being revealed that he sent her intimidating texts to try and silence her, he was promptly cut from the team after playing only one game. The trial eventually settled out of court, with Brittany stating that she just wanted it to be done with already. Brown became known as an extremely controversial figure in the NFL, deliberately starting fights with teammates and harming women. After he was cut from the Patriots, he deliberated on Twitter back and forth about retiring from the NFL. He was suspended for 8 weeks from playing in the NFL because of the league's personal conduct policy regarding the lawsuit. After his suspension, he joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he did extremely well as a player. He did so well, in fact, that the team made it all the way to the Super Bowl, where Brown secured his first championship ring when they decimated the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. Even though he reportedly had an altercation in 2020 with a security guard where he apparently threw a bike at someone, it seemed like Antonio was finally in a team that worked for him. He certainly did very well for the team, but then 2021 rolled around. Despite signing a fancy new deal with the Buccaneers, Brown was placed on the reserve list because he broke the health and safety laws put in place for physical distancing and keeping everyone safe. Then he was suspended once again from the NFL because he got a fake card saying he got the shot. Apparently, what had happened was Antonio's girlfriend at the time got their personal chef to find fake cards for her and the footballer. The chef got the cards, and then after a falling out over uncollected debt, the chef accused Brown of owing him $10,000. Because of that, he also outed Antonio for having a fake card that went against the health and safety protocols of the NFL. Despite his suspension and the shockwaves it made in the community, Antonio stayed on the Buccaneers team once his suspension was up. That was until the infamous in-game blowout. In a scene that was so bizarre, Antonio Brown stormed off the field during a game and threw his jersey, gloves, and helmet to the ground while running to the locker room. He left the game, and in a post-game press conference, it was pretty clear that he was immediately fired when the head coach stated that Brown is, quote, no longer a Buck. 4 days after he stormed off, Antonio released a statement accusing the Buccaneers of a cover-up. The statement said that he was pressured to play the game despite having a broken ankle that required surgery. He then declined to give any medical proof of his broken ankle and continues to this day to accuse the team of forcing him to play. They let him go officially in January 2022, and ever since then he's been a free agent. I feel like that may have been the final nail in the coffin for Antonio, and it seems pretty unlikely that he'll be rehired because despite his insane receiving abilities and his domination of the game itself, he's a total liability and a PR nightmare for the NFL. Nowadays, Brown is weirdly turning his focus to music, having been spotted out with Kanye West on several occasions. He was seen entering recording studios and is reportedly collaborating with Kanye on a few tracks. And now, in early February 2022, it was reported that Brown has officially joined Donda Sports. Donda Sports is a, quote, holistic support to athletes during and beyond their sports career, which, if you're like me, means nothing to you, but basically what I could piece together about the deal is that Brown will be launching a clothing line with Kanye that, quote, provides more creative, genius ideas for fashion looks for athletes in general. So I guess we all have that to look forward to now. So what do you think about Antonio Brown joining Donda Sports? Do you think that ankle thing was bogus, or do you think it was a human rights violation? Let us know in the comments down below, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos just like it. I'm your host Sierra for Where Are They Now? See you next time.